Hello everyone, I'm going to make a quick video today about the labeling of Elliott Wave patterns and what do they mean, how you can get better at identifying which is what, what's a lower degree, what's a higher degree, and kind of what's the proper labeling when you look at charts. I'm your host, the Cowboy. This is Elliott Wave Cafe. Let's get started. Alright, so very simple. Up here underneath this black box I have all the labeling, and they start by going with uppercase Romans and then lowercase Romans. You've got some uppercase letters, lowercase letters. They kind of move back and forth in a pretty simple manner, which I'll show you here in a second. But it's very important to keep track of this type of labeling so you can be accurate and you can know exactly at which degree of trend you're basically either trading or analyzing, and you don't get confused by, let's say, where you are in that particular sequence. Now this is the Motive Wave software. It's a really good one because it's basically creating some of this stuff in a automatic manner, and you can change some of this, and it actually tells you what is what, and changes the subdivisions when you change the time frame. So it's really helpful. But I know some of you use maybe Trading View, some others use, let's say, stock charts, and those are a little bit different. They don't have, let's say, that much labeling, or if they do, it's a little bit harder to work with. So I encourage everybody to kind of take a look at motivewave.com. Use the link that I have below. Gives me a little bit of a referral. I mean, gives me a little bit of a feedback. It's not a lot, but it helps. It helps this channel. So if you wanted to, try that Motive Wave, it's not a cheap software. But if you're serious about Elliott Wave and you want to learn it, and it saves you a lot of time, when you use it. And I've been using it for years and years, and it's I can go back to any other software. I've gotten used with it, and it's quick, and it just kind of saves all my counts, and it's really awesome. So anyway, taking a look at this, basically we're going to start, I'm not going to start straight from, the largest counts out there, because just above these ones, you have about three more. You have a sub-millennium that moves above this one. You have a millennium, and then you have a, like a super millennium that's up at the top. And those are, most of us, we're not going to see those in our lifetimes. So I don't think it's even worth, I don't think I've seen them labeled, anywhere yet, but they do exist, and you'll see kind of how to label those after I'm kind of going through the sequence looking below in here. And in here, what I've done is I've just created a very simple impulsive move, and I've started to subdivide it, and I'm going to show you a couple of things, kind of how this goes as we're moving along. So basically what you have is you have the first the first three sequences in here of labeling, and the reason why I'm kind of creating these blocks is because I'm looking at the letters in here, right? And these are uppercase Roman letters, which identify basically all of these are upper Roman, right? And then back in here you have these lowercase letters, right? And this basically, so this uppercase Roman with this lowercase letter identifies a grand supercycle. So all you got to do is just note that when you look at the grand supercycle, you have this I, and then you have a circle around it, and then the corrected move next to it, right? It's going to be wave A supercycle. That's the ABC, and it's a lowercase. So uppercase Roman, lowercase letter. Okay. Now you're looking at this one in here. It's after the round circle comes the parenthesis, and this is the supercycle degree. And it's the same thing. It's the Roman, but instead of being round, it's got parentheses, and then you move to the right and you have your supercycle, but again, it's just a lowercase letter. And then the last one, it's the cycle, which is you know, just the I by itself, you know, with a lowercase a by itself in here as well. So very, very simple. These are, you know, Roman with lower cases, and that is grand supercycle, supercycle, and cycle. And that's kind of what I have done in here. If you go and take a look at this wave 1, it's the supercycle. So that's this degree right there, right? So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the supercycle. This completes a higher degree trend at the grand supercycle degree, and that would be wave 1. Right, and you can see it says there, grand supercycle. So now we're subdividing this into the supercycle degree, and then inside each of these legs, you have the cycle, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see round, parentheses, and then just a simple I. Okay, so this is the first sequence that you have, which is with upper case Roman and with lowercase letters. Now you're moving from this one. You're going to move into numerals in here, right? So you're going to go to the next sequence right there. Okay, and this you're moving to the primary degree. So instead of being a 1, you know, in a Roman, you get a 1 numeral, and then you have this with the uppercase letter. Same thing, circle, parentheses, and single. Circle, parentheses, and single. 1, 1, 1. Then you have A primary, A intermediate, and A minor. So this is how you know kind of how you're supposed to do this. And most of them that we work with, usually, you know, cycles are kind of rare, but they're there. Super cycles are even rarer, but most of them that we use are probably, you know, between primary, intermediate, and minor on the daily, weekly time frames that we're kind of using. And then we're going down to some of the lower ones, which I'll show you in a second. So basically, you know, if we're taking this wave 1 cycle out of here, right? And then you have your wave 1, super cycle. And I'm pushing this to the side. Let's do this, right? And I want to go inside this, you know, cycle degree 3rd wave, for example. You will see, I'm just going to ask the software to decompose that for me automatically, and you will know. So I'm going to decompose this as an impulse, and you will see that it automatically moves to the primary degree, which is this right here. So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now what I'm going to do, so this is inside each of these legs, right? In wave 1, in here in the cycle, you're supposed to have the primary back in there, and then you're supposed to have an ABC primary, same thing. You're going to have this, then you're going to have another ABC, or this could be a triangle, or a flat, whatever it is, but it's at this degree of trend, right? It's the primary degree of trend that completes wave 4 cycle. Okay, now that we've done the cycle, let me just kind of delete, I'm going to delete this. We're not going to remove the child waves because this is kind of what I wanted to kind of go back next. So now you're having this primary degree, and we're going to subdivide this, and I'm going to pick the same. I'm going to pick the 3rd wave, and we're going to go, and you see how this is going to decompose it into the intermediate degree impulse right there. So now you have the intermediate degree, which is the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the intermediate degree. This ABC, it's going to complete that. And all of that, right, fits into the little wave 1 that you have in there, or in a wave 3, or in a wave 5. So that's the degree of trend. And now if I'm taking this, so let's delete the big one. Again, same thing. I'm going to delete this. We're not going to remove the child waves. We're going to leave those. And this is the intermediate degree. And as I'm going to work through that, let's just do the wave 5 on this occasion, right? Let's just do wave 5 in there. And we're going to go and decompose that and do it as an impulse. And you'll see you're going to get into the minor. So this is the numeral, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is this degree in here. So we're going from minor to intermediate to primary to cycle to supercycle to grand supercycle. So you know, I would suggest, you know, that you do a sheet with all of these and just print it out and just try to learn it as you're moving along. And this way, you know, when you do an explanation to somebody, or when you're learning, or when you're talking to your friends, other electricians, then you'll know, hey, we're in the wave minor, this, wave 1 minor, then we're going to go down to the wave 1 minute, and then we're going to go to the minuet, and then, if you go higher, then you're going to go to intermediate. So the moment you see a label that's a third, and then it has a parenthesis in here, you're probably going to know, pretty well that, hey, I think that's, very likely it's probably an intermediate degree. Because if it's a numeral, right, it's intermediate. If it goes up into Romans, right, then you have, you have a supercycle. So now, let me just go a little bit lower onto these guys, and we're going to go into the next sequence, which follows the next three down, right? And you see how it changes back to Romans. So you go Romans in there, right? Just, the uppercase, and then you have the lowercase Roman, which you have this I in here. Again, circle, parentheses, and just a single one in there. And then same thing for here. Now, these two are the same. You see that? Okay, so it's just kind of, just a lowercase letter. But usually they're smaller in size, so when you see them on the chart, they're a little bit smaller, and you'll know that's kind of what it is. But these two are are similar, basically. So minute degree is next, which comes, let's say, after I remove this guy. We're now going to remove this, so we're looking at this, which is the minor, right? And then we're going to go in the minor and decompose this, as an impulse. So right in there, right? Don't mind. I hope wave 3 is not the smallest. Don't come at me with that, But right there, minute, and the software actually tells you already. That's the minute. And then if I'm decomposing this guy, right, then we're going to get the minuet, and so on and so forth. So the next one down is this Y parenthesis. Then you have this I in here. Same thing, subminuet. And then you're moving to, let's say, a 3-hour chart, a 4-hour chart, a 1-hour chart, lower than that. And then, then you'll know exactly kind of where to place those. Then the next one here is micro. Now you can see how you're moving back to, numerals here. Right there, you have the 1, then you have 1. Then you have submicro, and then you have minuscule. Micro, submicro, minuscule. So, same thing. All you got to do next is just put a parenthesis in here, and then that gives you the next wave down, like that. And then the minuscule comes up another with the wave 1 that's smaller, that looks just like this one. And then if you're going even to lower time frames, let me just put that back. You're going to even lower time frames, then you have nano, sub-nano, and pico. And these ones, they're very, very rarely using, unless you're using a 1-minute chart or tick charts or stuff like that you're going to kind of follow them or see them kind of those time frames. But that's all what it is. You have uppercase Romans, lowercase Romans. You have uppercase letters, lowercase letters, and, then you're just kind of continuing to follow this sequence to the upside. So now if I was going to go, like I said, into let's say, what's the next one up? Let's say it's a submillennium. Let me just kind of take this, right, and push it up here, right? So what's the next sequence? So now you have Roman, numeral, you have Roman. So the next one in here is probably going to be, a numeral. So you're going to go, I'm going to go wave 1. In there, and then you have the submillennium right there, because you start from the bottom like that. And then the next one up, it's going to be same one, but with the parentheses. And then the next one higher, right, the super millennium, it's going to be this wave 1 with the circle. So that's the roadmap to your counts. And then that's kind of how you subdivide them and how you use them. And again, I would just kind of create a list and try to familiarize with these, and then the moment you'll see something in circle, you'll know, hey, this is a primary degree. You'll see something in parentheses, it's intermediate degree. And then you look lower and, you work with the minute, maybe with the minuet and subminuet. You're probably not going to work a lot with micro, submicro, and minuscule, unless you're in a very, very small time frames. And then, as you're moving a little bit higher, you might work. So, but for me, the ones that I use the most are these guys right here. Probably from cycle, let's say all the way to kind of sub minuet like that. And then anything lower than that, I'm not usually getting bothered by it, because I don't trade that lower time frame. I don't need to, you know, see everything and have a lot of labels on there. And you know, the good part about this software also is that it allows you to you know, to kind of hide some of these. Let me see if I can escape exit drawing. Yep. So for example, you know, if I don't want to see this, I'm going to go here and say, you know, visibility, and I'm going to go below 1 month, right? So now if I am, you know, on a 1 month chart and I don't want to see that, kind of same with this guy, visibility, let's say below 1 month, like that. This one, visibility below 1 month. And then as I'm moving, let's say to, you know, a weekly time frame, then those are going to appear and I'm not going to clutter my chart. And then this way, you know, I can keep my higher time frame charts kind of very, very clean. So yeah, once again, I think, you know, hopefully this helps. Let me know if any comments, any suggestions, any questions that you have or anything like that. Don't forget to subscribe and like. But anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and I will be talking to you a little bit later. Bye-bye.